Live from Hollywood, it's AM with Steve Edwards and Christina Ferrara.
Good morning. Good morning. This hour, the queen of celebrity chasers tells you how you can meet him or her. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back in the Bay Area. Our next guest has been called America's gutsiest gatecrasher. We've had the America's most notorious prostitute, and now we have America's gutsiest. We have only the biggest here on the show, folks. She has used bold-faced lies, phony ID cards, tears, and more to elbow her way into some of the glitziest bashes ever thrown. She's managed to rub shoulders with the likes of Ronald Reagan, of Paul Newman, well, he's happy there, Julio Iglesias, Tom, I Am Taller, Selleck, and a lot more. Welcome to Missy Laws.
Hi.
Hi, Missy.
Nice to meet you. Hi there.
A couple of things I can tell you about Missy right off the bat. She got on the show by showing up in our office all the time.
Yeah.
She'd just be in the office, right?
Yeah, I crashed the studio.
How'd you get through the front gate?
I just looked at the guard and I smiled and I waved like I was supposed to be here, and he just waved back and I drove right onto the property.
How thrilling that is for us.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. But you have found that you can hang around where something's happening, and if you have the right demeanor and right attitude, you can get in. For instance, I was reading in the book where you ended up going out with Frank Sinatra and his group, I think in Las Vegas, just by waiting, watching, and what, grabbing a bar stool? Is that what happened?
He was sitting in the bar at the Sahara, and this is when Frank Sinatra Jr. was performing there. And he was in the bar, and Frank Sinatra Jr. was there, and Flip Wilson, and there was an empty seat next to Mr. Sinatra, and there was an empty seat next to that. And I thought, I'm going to take one of these seats. Which one should I take? Well, while I was thinking about it, this young, pretty woman just comes in and jumps right next to Frank Sinatra, so I had to take the other seat. So I sat down, and I just started talking to people and trying to fit in. I was dressed, overdressed, so that I looked like I was imported and like I would belong there. And this woman was talking to Mr. Sinatra, and she goes, "Can I have $500? I want to go gamble." And he just pulls the money out of his pocket and gives it to her. And I thought, oh my God, celebrities just give money away. This is wonderful.
What was Christina doing there?
So I thought, well, maybe I should ask him for $1,000. I don't know, And naturally, I wasn't going to do that. And she went out and gambled and came back a few minutes later and said, "Oh, I won," and tries to give him the money back. And he says no. And she says,
"Thanks,
Daddy." It was his daughter.
Thing for you to crash.
But the story was it was his daughter, it was Tina.
Oh, was it Tina? Oh, Tina. Oh, yeah. Well, he'll give Tina anything. That's true.
Yeah, probably the most difficult thing.
You know what? Before we get to the difficult thing, I said this earlier. Burt Reynolds. You called him in his hotel room at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you woke him up, right?
I did.
And you said to him, quickly, what did you say to him?
Well, I didn't tell, I wanted him to go to my prom, but I didn't tell him it was a prom. I said that there was a benefit to raise money for the Fox Theater because the prom was being held at the Fox Theater.
Now, did he just say 2 words and hang up, or did he give you a
No,
whole
he was
answer?
actually very nice. He said, "Oh, well, I'm going to be going back to L.A., and I won't be in Atlanta at that time," and he went on, and he was very, very cordial.
I think he remembers this? He was
But I mean, I gathered that you have hostility about the fact that I woke him up, but you have to understand, you have to understand that celebrities have very unusual hours, and I used to go out with celebrities who would go to bed at 8 or 9 in the morning, and they'd sleep all day, so you never know their schedule.
We don't have enough time to do this. We're going to have to invite you back. Would you come back?
I'd love
Because there's
to.
so much more to talk about.
Her book is called Meet the Stars. More information about where Missy's going to be, we'll have it on the hotline. We'll be back in just a moment. Monday, sex without sex.